Hi, I'm Joy, and this is Pilates Perspectives. Today we'll be talking with Paula Marie about having a career in Pilates. But before we get started, let's check in. Today, let's talk posture. We often think of posture as sort of these rigid landmarks. Your ears should be over your shoulders in line with your blah, 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 and blah. But how about we think about you as you move through space and how your body should move with ease, economy, and efficiency. And that starts simply with how are you aligned from head and your head over your rib cage and your rib cage over your pelvis. So you could be sitting, you could be standing, but instead of thinking of pulling or pushing in order to be in some ideal space, let's just have you lengthen through the crown of your head and ground either through your seat or your feet. Now, where is your head in relationship to your rib cage? Do you find your chin jutting out? Do you find it dropping down? Is your rib cage in front of or behind your head? And now can you float, and yes, I mean float, your head over your rib cage? Now your rib cage is going to float over your pelvis. And where is your pelvis in space? Very often in our basic standing habits, we tend to stand into one leg or to the other, or we tend to spill the pelvis forward or back. How about we allow the pelvis to ride high on top of your legs, and then we find your rib cage balanced above and your head above that. And hopefully what you're finding is this moment in space that we call posture is actually just that. It's a moment in time in the movement arc. But it's a moment where your body just says, all right, thank you for taking the time to be present with me today. Our guest today is Paula Marie, who wears many hats, including Pilates instructor, corporate wellness expert, business coach, grief advocate, public speaker, and last but not least, professor at George Mason University. You can find Paula at blackgirlsdopilates2.org. That's blackgirlsdopilates2.org, or at the link in the description below. So I'm here with Paula Marie, who is someone in the Pilates industry whose presence is really growing. And actually, during COVID is when our paths initially crossed. And I was just absolutely struck by how positive you are. And I'm so excited to have you here on Pilates Perspectives. So thank you for joining me.
Thank you. I'm excited as well.
I guess for those of you out there, let's introduce you a little bit to Paula Marie. So tell me your first Pilates session. What was that like for you?
Oh, wow. So I started with Bally Total Fitness, if anyone remembers that.
Back in the day.
Back in the day. Yeah, the best place to start in fitness because they had a partnership with Balanced Body. And so
I remember that.
Yeah. And so I literally didn't know at that time I was getting like grassroots firsthand Pilates, stock. But I went to my first Pilates class. Actually, I'll even go further. I was pregnant with my son, who will be 21 next month. And I came across a Balanced Body flyer.
A flyer?
A flyer.
That is back in the day.
And it was a trifold, and I opened it up. And the words jumped off the flyer. Like I could see myself doing this workout. I'd never done it before, but I could see myself doing this workout. That's just how, first of all, it was great copy from a marketing perspective.
I'll be sure to tell our former marketing director that. That's fantastic.
It was great. And I said, as soon as I drop this baby, I'm going to do Pilates. And so I went to my first class after that. and I fell in love with it. I just felt like I was dancing on the reformer. It
That's
just brought
lovely.
me back to like that world of dance that I came from.
And you take it in a class environment?
Took it in a class environment. And then I was like, I want to teach this thing. The rest is history.
So when did you take the leap to becoming a Pilates instructor?
Probably about 6 months after that, because I was a group fitness director for Bali Total Fitness, and they had the certifications. I said, yeah, I'm in. And so I went through all of those certifications, totally different than it is now.
Right.
Those were weekend certifications.
So what was that like, and who was that with?
Weekend certifications, 3 days, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday and I did reformer first. Because that's what I fell in love with, was reformer. And everyone kept saying, you need to do mat. And I said, no, I want to play on the equipment. I want to do all the fun things, right? And so I did mat and literally fell in love with mat just because of how versatile it is. You can do it anywhere. And so I love equipment and mat equally. Yeah.
So in many ways, you were ahead of your time, because here we are, the Pilates community today finds itself in the midst of this like burgeoning reformer class environment. And many of our students come to us for reformer first. And we always say, oh, no, you should do the mat. It's like the mat. And we try to get more and more people to fall in love with it. So how would you get someone to fall in love with mat? What would you say to a new student who says, I just want to learn the equipment?
I tell people all the time that mat is your body, air, and whatever religion that you practice. Like, that's it. Like, you've got to be on for mat. It is so much more challenging. So all of the tools that you get on the equipment actually put your body into place. So you don't have to do a lot of thinking with the reformer. It literally, you can feel when you're wrong, right? Because it just you just kind of fit in the pocket of a reformer. But mat, you got to know how to fit into the pocket. And you won't know that unless you do the reformer first. So I just tell people, what you've learned is going to help you to master and conquer mat. And normally they're like, oh my God.
Well, the legend has it that actually mat was intended to be sort of your final destination, because it's the hardest. Like you said, it's yourself, air, and maybe a mat on the ground underneath you if you're lucky. And so in order to achieve that and to do it well, you need the other experiences.
Right. Absolutely.
So you've had a lot of roles over the years, a lot of different jobs. You are a Pilates instructor, but you were also a fitness manager. I love this, a grief advocate and a professor. Tell me about some of those roles.
So grief advocate is what I gave myself because my oldest son passed away when he was 18.
Oh, I'm so
And
sorry.
so, like a lot of our clients, when they get to reformer or mat, Pilates is the one place they can turn off. Because when you're in that cycle of grief, it comes in waves. It'll leave and then it'll come, it'll leave and it'll come, but it's always with you. And that learning how to harness like that energy of breath is going to be super important to someone who's navigating that. And it gives you a chance to be quiet and still because you're on the reformer. Somebody else gets to talk. No one's asking you questions, things like that. And so I understand what that feels like going through it. And sometimes I can see it in my clients as they're on the reformer. You can just tell when your client just isn't their selves. It's not clicking, right? And instead of the push, sometimes you need to just give them a little bit of space to
Give them
just
a little
be.
grace, yeah.
Just lay on this reformer. Because all they had today was to get to this reformer. They
Right.
could have said no, but they needed it for whatever reason. So just give them the space to just be on the reformer. So that's how I've harnessed that kind of title for myself.
That's fascinating. Did you find for yourself movement and your space on the reformer was your healing space, or one of your healing spaces?
It was definitely one of my healing spaces because I got to focus on other people as an instructor. So it takes the space of focusing on you and what you're going through.
Now, our paths crossed during COVID, and we had some conversations around business advocacy. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your work with Pilates instructors, particularly around business advocacy and,
Oh my
and
goodness.
literacy?
So my role as a group fitness director, Pilates coordinator, yada, 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 whatever role they gave me, right? Business was the 50 to 60% of that role because I was having to drive customers and get more clients into the classes, create different types of classes, how to market the classes, how to hire, how to fire, SOPs, all those things was a part of my job working in those roles. And so what I find is that Pilates instructors don't get into being a studio owner or even an owner of their own business as an instructor because they want to market themselves.
Hmm.
That's not the thing that gets them in the door, right? It's the aesthetics of like, I'm going to look good when I teach because if I look good and I feel good, then my clients are going to feel good. I'm going to impact them in some way. You want to put your mark on the world, but the revenue, marketing, the business,
The
the
admin.
hiring,
Yeah.
all that admin, that's not your favorite thing.
Certainly wasn't mine.
Yeah, it's my favorite thing. Like I don't know if it's because I'm a Capricorn, but my Capricornism
my
gets lights
Aries
up.
did not like it. No.
So I enjoy those business pieces because I want to ensure my success as an instructor. I want to ensure my success, even if I'm just working at a studio. How do I grow and build myself within that studio so that my classes are full, clients love me, and I'm still working within the boundaries and the parameters? And when I realized that instructors don't like those things, there was a deficit that needed to be filled, which is business 101. Find the deficit that you can fill and then fill it. They will come. And so I started to really talk about like, how do we market, especially during, the times that we were down and shut off and all the things, right? Because we don't want to say those words.
Yeah.
But that was a time when people were still enough to listen and to really get the information and sit down and assess and say, okay, this is what I'm missing, and I need to know more about this thing. And we're not spending so much. And so that's really where it came in, is me taking the things I've learned from getting paid on the job training in these roles and giving that information out. So creating workshops and courses and communities where people are able to come in and learn these things on their own so that they can go out and generate more revenue, build businesses, and continue the legacy that they want to leave in the world.
What would you say your sort of the number one tip would be that you would give or that you have been giving to instructors?
Just do it. Like, there's so much information that you can have information overload at some point. Um, don't be fearful of what it looks like. You won't get better at it until you do it over.
In the Pilates itself.
Over.
Yeah.
Pilates and also the marketing.
And the marketing, the business.
The business.
Yeah.
And hire out.
Just start doing it.
Just do it, because then you're not going to know what you're not good at. And then the second thing is hire it out.
Yeah. If you're not good at it, just find somebody who is.
But you got to do it first.
Just having that conversation with my team.
Hire it out, because if you don't do it, you won't understand what it takes to do it. And that will help you to understand why you need to pay someone and how important it is to value the person that you're paying.
Speak a little bit more about that.
Because instructors are building, let's say you're building a studio. And also, let's talk to the person that's just building their own practice as an instructor, their own legacy as an instructor. You may not have the funds to do all the training. You may not have the funds to get the computer program. You may not have the funds to hire a coach, right? But the time that you spend trying to figure it out or not figure it out because you don't have is costing you more money than if you just did it.
Interesting.
You got to do it.
It's a great tip. I never really thought of it that way. That actually, if my best skill was actually in the teaching, all the time I spent trying to like do my admin, I was actually losing money,
Losing time,
and because I was losing time when someone else could have taken that on. Yeah.
taking it on, and saved you money. Because when someone comes in with fresh eyes on your business, they can see the gaps. It's your baby, so you can't see the gaps. If someone comes in and says, hey, you know what, you're spending a lot of money on this, but if you just got this system for $9.99 a month, it could automate that and do X, Y, and Z and element of P at the same time. Saves you money, right? But you need someone with fresh eyes and a perspective, and also that knows a little bit more than you do about that thing, to be able to open your eyes to that.
Fantastic. So you've worn many hats.
Yeah.
You've worn many hats. And many of the Pilates instructors you come across, I'm sure, wear many hats as well. What advice would you have for someone who's passionate about Pilates, while still trying to do other things? How would you counsel them? Would you counsel them to consolidate, or to seek their passion, or, to maybe move in another direction?
Is other things like another career
Yeah,
or,
if say Pilates is their passion,
yeah,
but they have this other career.
got you. Yeah. Your passion can become your career if you just look at what it is that you need. We have to budget. So sometimes we lead with emotion without the budget. And that's when we fall into the traps.
We lead with emotion.
Yeah, it's like, I really love it, right? But we didn't consolidate, we didn't like put together a budget. And then you've got to figure out from that budget, what can you trim, right? Because you're starting over. And if that's something that you really want to do, what can you shift, change, eliminate in your business, where you can still feel fulfilled? And I would say, look at all the careers in Pilates. There's so many careers in Pilates other than just teaching or owning a studio. You can become a consultant. I knew off the bat when I first got my certification through Balanced Body at Bally Total Fitness. There was a section on careers, and the instructor was like, we're going to look at all these careers and how you can make money. And she said, what do you want to do? And I said, I want your job. She was a trainer. I want to teach. I want to train people on how to be
Good
better.
for you. Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
at the time, it was like, hey, I want to be a Pilates trainer and teach people how to do this thing called Pilates. And then I realized over the years that my zone of genius is really business. So now I get to teach you how to keep the money that you're making and make more money and be more efficient and show up in your superpowers more through the marketing. So I'm still teaching. But because I've worn so many hats, it gave me the ability to be able to find out, what does that really look like for me?
Right. What of your hats is the one that fits you best right now?
To be honest, I love teaching. But as an instructor, my superpower is coming up with amazing workshops that are kind of avant-garde, different. Nobody else is doing them. Like, that's always been my zone. So as a director for Pilates and group fitness programs, I was always able to create with my team and find out what's the thing that you like to do, and kind of pull that in and make these workshops where people want to come in and do Pilates, but in a different way. Because that's all it is. We're just dressing it up a little different.
In terms of your Pilates experiences, Pilates, and especially when you came into Pilates, was not particularly diverse.
Wasn't there? Was some controversy.
Yeah. But even, really back in the Bally's days, it was even less so. It was very much coming off of a very dance-oriented marketing. And I love that actually you said it's like dancing on the reformer. I think that's fantastic. I remember the one suit, the cat suits. Do you remember the cat suits?
Yeah.
The single, yeah. That I did not.
And who didn't do Pilates because of the cat suits, right?
Yeah, exactly,
Right.
exactly. How would you feel, or how have you seen it change pre-COVID and then during COVID?
I would say
And
that,
after, I would say.
yeah, pre-COVID, I really felt like I was on an island. I really felt like I was in my own silo, building and creating on my own. And during COVID, I really got to like sharpen my tools, rest, right? Who needs rest when they're teaching Pilates at that rate? And I got to figure out like where do I want to fit into this thing? And I got to connect with other Pilates instructors, which was really neat because when you're doing Pilates in a town and you're it for Pilates, like I started Pilates in Stafford, Virginia. No one even knew what Pilates was.
No, yeah.
I put my sign on the door, and everyone
Like,
was
what's
like,
this pilot stuff?
Pilates is what it
Pilates.
Pilates.
There we go.
What is this Pilates, right? And so I had to educate, and that in and of itself can be tiring because it's like you're wearing the cape. And so during that time period, I got the rest and I got to share stories. And I realized that my stories is similar to other people's stories that are in this journey. And then after COVID, it came this kind of rush. It was kind of like everybody was all into finding what worked for them. And Pilates was the one because it was something that you could do with just a mat. And it also became affordable when you have like different chains that are offering Pilates as well. And so what I'm finding now is there's this resurgence of Pilates where people are super serious about it. They're talking about it. They're interested. They want to know more. They have questions. And so even on social media and different groups, when this conversation comes up, it's exciting because that wasn't the case 6 years ago, right?
No, not at all.
But now it's hot and heavy. And so Pilates is lit right now.
It's lit. Do you know, I was in Tahoe like a week and a half ago. And just walking, I was in Truckee. We were just walking past a shop, and there was a whole family gathered outside. And the daughter was arguing with the mother because they were taking too long, and she wanted to get to her Pilates class. And I was like, well, this is such a different time.
It's different, baby. Like I know people that schedule things around Pilates.
Yeah.
And I love it because if you're going to, I always say you have to normalize nurturing yourself. That's my tagline for my retreats. And you have to normalize it daily.
Yes.
It can't be a once in a lifetime
It
thing.
has to be part of your DNA.
It has to be part of your routine, and everyone around you has to honor it. And if you don't honor it first, how will they?
Oh, say that again.
If you don't honor your time, your space inside of this Pilates practice of comfort, of rest, of reset, of rejuvenation, of peace, if you don't honor it, how will they?
I love that. All right. So it's lit right now, right?
It's lit. It's lit.
So how do we keep it lit?
I just had this conversation with someone before we came in here, so I'm excited. Education. People have to know the why. Education. Everybody's why is different. Just like you said, well, what was your first class and why did you get into it? My why is going to inspire hundreds of people that see themselves in me. Every instructor has to be fearless enough to share their why because we have so many stories of why people come to Pilates.
And they're so profound.
They're so profound. People have, and it's the regular, like, oh, I had surgery. Oh, my chiropractor, my doctor, prescribed it. But it could be that I just lost my mom. Do you know how many people lost people during that time frame?
During COVID,
and they just needed something that they could belong to. And a lot of my clients go through that. Or it could be that, my kids are grown. They're out of the house. I have nothing to do but to focus on me. And that's exciting because now you've got somebody experimenting with this thing. And I have this thing where I ask new people who are in my class, and I'm like, why are you here? Because we're literally right across the parking lot from an LA Fitness, right? Okay. Shout out to my Club Pilates Woodmore. And I ask people all the time, why are you here? Why are you not over at LA Fitness? And they're like, Because, and they just start rattling off all of these reasons why. And I ask that because we need to confirm for everyone in the room why this person is here, because their reason some of those reasons are your reasons.
Right.
Somebody is thinking, I don't know if I need to still do this, but their reasons are reaffirming. So we have to keep sharing stories. We have to educate people on our whys, and we have to educate people on the benefits.
What's so lovely about educating people on the whys, I think you allow yourself to be a bit vulnerable to people. And when you do that, you invite them in.
Yeah.
And I've seen such a lovely change in Pilates overall, the arc of Pilates over the last 20 plus years. And there is a lovely sense of, when you say the word Pilates, of wanting to sort of a belonging, and how important belonging is. Um, uh, if you were to, again, sort of go back to your advice, Cap, since you've been such an advisor to so many, what would your advice be to a new client who sees the Instagram posts and is afraid that maybe Pilates isn't right for them?
So there's so many instructors online. That one instructor that you saw that makes you fearful, they're not your people. They're just not. Keep scrolling. Just keep scrolling until you find your people, okay? You're going to find an instructor who's online that resonates with you, that connects with you, that is explaining, that is friendly, that's engaging, and that's active, because you
Right.
want someone who's active, because it's going to make you leap off the couch. It's going to make you want to get up and get active too. If you don't find a person that's going to make you get up and get active, they're not your people, because you're going to try it. You're going to stick with it for a little bit, but you're not really connected. And you're going to drop off. So you want to find a place that makes your whole spirit shake, that makes you happy, that makes you feel elated, that gives you energy you didn't even know you had. Once you find that person, then you're going to find more people like them, because you're all looking at the same instructor.
Uh-huh.
So there's thousands upon thousands of instructors out there. Just keep swiping until you find the instructor that works for you. That's how you start to fit into this community that you're building for yourself. Because if you like this instructor, then look at all the other people that like that instructor too. That's your tribe, right? Now ask questions, get active. Like, I feel like people feel like they have to know it all, but it's okay to ask questions. Type a question in the comment. We love it as instructors. OMG. Like, type a question in the
Give us a
comments.
question. We're so happy.
Let me comment on that bad boy. Let me share with you my expertise, okay? Because now I'm able to educate, which is what we need more of.
Right.
And you're getting it from someone that you like, know, and you're beginning to trust. So yeah, keep swiping till you find your people.
So it's also another form of educating, isn't it?
Always.
Swipe till you find your people, and let just start engaging. Yeah. And that opens your world. You have to sort of take that one step.
Yeah, right? It's digital currency. That's all it is. Yeah. It's just digital currency. Type in, engage. If you like that person, that instructor needs the engagement, because the algorithm's going to love it. They're going to love every like, every comment, every heart. They're going to like everything, okay? Oh, my
God, you are so not speaking my language now. I need your tutorials here. Fantastic. Pilates is all about precision, and Balanced Body embodies that. Whether you're seeking equipment for home or studio use, we design tools that help you move with control and intention. Our products are proudly made in the USA and trusted by instructors worldwide. And with our robust Pilates instructor trainings offered all across the US and around the world, we're here to support you, your practice, at every level. Ready to move well and live well? Visit Pilates.com to learn more. So on your public speaker about page, so first let's talk about your public speaking. What are some of your favorite topics?
Business, because I like money.
That was very You were right on that one.
Listen, business, but also inclusion, inclusivity, connection. Like, how do we find those things? How do we give and deliver those things, right?
How do we find those things?
Yeah.
And give and deliver
as
those things?
instructors, how do we give those things out in a way that reciprocates where clients want to come through your door and also are connected to your instructors? How do we do it in a way that creates this community and also gives people a safe space?
So what are some of your tips for that when you're asked that?
Yeah.
Or when you deliver your public speaking is specific to inclusivity?
I would say you have to be authentic to who you are. I find that sometimes new instructors, or not even just new instructors, sometimes Pilates has this thing, this veil that we all have to like move through, right? And so we're mimicking the veil instead of taking on your why. Why are you here? Why are you teaching? And delivering that why to your people in your authenticity.
Right.
Once you're authentic, people can feel that and they're more connected. Once they're connected to you, you've got loyal clients. You've got clients that will understand when things happen in the business because they're connected. They're engaged. They are 10 toes down. So we deliver it through authenticity, honesty, integrity, and also allowing yourself the capacity to grow. You don't have to know all the things when you open the door as an instructor or an owner. You just have to know the things that you know. Like, I know what I know right now, and what you don't know is okay. Hey, I wasn't aware of that. It's okay for you to say things like that. Thank you for letting me know that. I didn't even think of it in that way. People like this conversation. It's just being human. It's just day-to-day normal conversation. Yeah.
Right. So being open with yourself, maybe being a little vulnerable. So on your About page, you say wellness evolves from the inside out.
Because Pilates is mind body. Do you know how many times people try to do the teaser in my class and they just can't get it? On the reformer, on the box, that's my tester. And they can't get it. And I'm telling them, cueing them, I'm telling them where to put their arms, but they don't put their arms where I told them because they're thinking my arms need to be someplace else. I'm telling them when to lift and how to lift, but their brain is telling them something different. Once they start to listen and tell themselves what to do based off of my cues, they get it. That mind-body connection is important. They have to trust me enough, though, to listen to the words that are coming out of my mouth. So if they don't trust me enough, they're going to talk to themselves and try to coach themselves, even though they're paying me great money to coach them in the class, right? So that inside out is you've got to listen to what you're being told in order to get into it, but you have to believe also you can do it. And if you don't believe...
So you have to have a deep internal sense of belief.
And you've got to, and open to being coached. If I am telling you, you can do it. All you have to do is extend your legs. Don't bend your knees. Extend your legs. Reach your toes to the blue. If I tell you and you believe me enough to do it, you trusted my words enough to do it, you're going to do it. You may not be able to hold it, but you're going to get there. And if you can get there for a second, you can get there for 3.
Right.
You can get there for 5.
Right.
But it has to be this belief that I can do it, or this belief that I trust my instructor to do it. So it has to come from the inside. Something has to tell you that you're strong enough, you're good enough, you're powerful enough to do it. All of that is internal. The body will follow.
That's beautiful. What about like boundaries or barriers? Did you have any barriers to sort of entry or work in the Pilates industry?
No, I did not. I don't have any stories about getting started. Ballet Total Fitness, as I said, was my my like springboard into it. It's very inclusive, gave me all the training. Then I went into government fitness.
Government fitness. Where did you work in the government?
Where did I not work? In the DMV area, which is DC, Maryland, Virginia. I worked for a great company that had a contract with most of the government agencies. So Government Accountability's Office, which is the headquarters for engineers, Department of Treasurer, NASA, name an office. I know where they're all hidden, okay? Say FBI, know them all, right? And then I went to Lifetime Fitness, which is very different. And I learned different things at each one. I would say the only barrier I can think of, which I ended up leaving that particular location, was my last official 9-to-5 job. I was working at a local government office for a county agency. And ironically, I wanted to go to a Balanced Body on tour.
Oh, did you?
Submitted my
to
proposal.
PNT?
Oh my God. Submitted my proposal, everything, because we're going to come back and we're going to learn so many things and we're going to build our studio up. And I got a no because the manager at the time didn't want to send me to Balanced Body on tour. And then I learn all the things and then I leave. That was the only thing I can think of.
So let me see if I get this straight. They didn't want you to educate yourself because instead of being like excited that maybe it would what it would bring to their facility, they were afraid that you would leave.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a mindset, isn't it?
It's a mindset, but it also it goes back to how do you manage people?
Mm.
And so if you manage people in an environment that people want to come to work, they have autonomy to try things out, a freedom to exert themselves and really like build. If you have that type of environment, they're not going to leave because you're giving them the springboard to grow. And I had so many ideas for that location in that studio because we had a tiny studio, 5-6 performers, had a supervisor that was also like balanced, Pilates certified. That's why primarily I got the job, is because I could teach Pilates.
Right.
And I also like to run things. So it was a win-win.
Sometimes those things are like not like they don't fit together. So
Yeah,
that's
but
really lovely.
I'm the puzzle. I'm the piece of the puzzle that everybody needs.
Mhm.
But I will say that what it taught me is that it was time for me to go because I wasn't going to grow.
Mm.
And I was fearful of leaving because I was comfortable. And so that experience just gave me the autonomy to just walk out and chart my own path and figure it out. Yeah.
So when I listen to you, you use the word now grow. You weren't, it wasn't a place for you to grow. When I listen to you, what comes to me, when I listen to you lecture or in a classroom, what comes to me is that you have this very authentic growth mindset. What does a growth mindset mean to you?
Fearless. I use that word a lot because a lot of people don't. So you have to be fearless, meaning you're about to do something that probably people around you have not even thought about. And they don't know the journey you're about to go on.
Mm-hmm.
However, in order for you to chart your path and grow, you've got to try. You got to take the step forward. You got to just do it. And you can't listen to the people around you because they've never done it. They can't even conceptualize what it is. And even if they have done it, they don't have your passion, your vision, your mission. So even if you're in a room full of people who have done the thing that you want to do, no one can do it the way that you're going to do it.
Mm-hmm. So
you've got to have enough faith and be fearless enough to just do it. Growth doesn't come from being still. You got to get active. And a lot of times we want to make sure we're doing it the right way because we do it the right way. We're not going to make any mistakes. But the riches are in the mistakes. That's where you get to dust yourself off, see what went right, analyze. We need data, okay? We need to say, hey, we went left. We should have went right. Oh, we went right. That didn't work either. Let's try straight. Oh, when we go straight, but then we bear to the right, that word. Yeah. So you had to test it out.
Right.
You can't test it out being still.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because, fear, I think, or I've experienced with especially newer instructors, there's sort of this fear that I don't know enough to teach. So they hold off on teaching. And then they hold off on teaching. And then it only compounds the fear.
Yeah.
Right. So I guess what I'm hearing you say is take your authentic self and show up and start teaching.
Start teaching. And prime example, we have a teacher training program at my studio. And I'm always like, hey, come in here and do the warm up. Just do the warm up. And then once you do the warm up and you figure out, oh, I stumbled over some words, but nobody cared.
Right. Nobody got hurt, right?
I said the wrong thing. I had to change it up. No one cared.
No one
right?
cared. Yep.
Yeah, it was like 5 minutes, 6 minutes of a warm up. You did the warm up. Okay. Now you're going to do it again. And you're going to do it again. And now you got your warm up. Okay, I'm going to invite you in. Do the cool down. And you're going to do the same thing until you dust off that cool down. Now, 50% of your class is done.
Yep.
Yeah, the warm up and the cool down. Now let's piece some things in the middle. And so once you rinse and repeat that over and over again, then the fear kind of goes off. And that's how you train people to take over things. I literally did that with someone and when she was done, because she was nervous to teach, and she was like, I tested out and I'm good. And I was like, great. You want to take over my class on Monday nights? Yeah. So I groomed her for that because I knew she would be a great fit. But I also needed her to have a space where she felt safe enough to dust it off, rinse and repeat. And that's all it is. When you are growing, you have to rinse and repeat. And a lot of times we try things one time, it didn't work, so we scrap it.
Right.
Now we have no data and we have no analytics to see what happened because you only had a one and done.
Right.
You have to look at what didn't work, what variables can we change, and that's how you grow.
So we're talking about growth, but part of growth and something that I hear from you often is setting boundaries. Because, when we're in the growth phase, and we were just talking about this before we started, we're in the growth phase, we tend to just be always on fire.
And then you burn.
Yeah. And when you're always on fire, yeah, you get charred. So talk to us a little bit about setting boundaries, but particularly setting boundaries in the midst of sort of chaos.
So it's important for you to understand what your mission is, what your vision is. You got to always keep your vision in sight. Again, no one knows what you know. No one knows where you want to go. So if you keep that in mind, then you've got to have some time boundaries. Some boundaries where you just have time
I'm
to
smiling
yourself.
because you're going to list all the things that I did have. Yeah.
Time boundaries. Your calendar cannot be an open book. You've got to set, I hate white space. I noticed 2 years ago, I realized I hate white space on my calendar. So if you tell me something that you need done, I'm going to look at my calendar. I'm going to see some white space and I'm going to plug you in. So now I put color to my white space and it is blocked off for just me. Because if I don't have that time to rebound, if I don't have that time to rest, if I don't have that time to just disconnect, right? Then I'm never going to have enough fuel to do the things that I need to do for my mission and my vision for what I need to, for where I want to go. The other thing is make sure that you have the right people around you.
That's a good one.
It's a really good one, especially if you're in a town where you're it. There's no one else doing Pilates and you're it, and you're plowing this path by yourself. You are not alone. There are other people doing the same things, and there's other people that have done the same things. And you need that conversation. I found that out more than ever in COVID when I was in a community of other Pilates instructors. And every Friday, we would just jump on a Zoom. Didn't matter what time. We knew on Friday the Zoom would be open. And we would just jump on a Zoom and we would talk about what happened that week, what we're working on that week, or just dumb stuff that didn't have anything to do with Pilates. But I was talking to it with someone who got it. They were doing what I was doing. They had skin in the game. And so it was my safe space.
Right.
So make sure you have people around you that you can create these safe spaces with. Not so much for advice or mentorship, but just so that they understand when you say you're tired, they get why you're tired, right? Because other people are like, oh, you're just teaching Pilates. You're just talking all day for like 4 hours straight. You shouldn't be tired. So you want to have the right people around you. And another reason why is because you want the support. Again, people do not know what you know. So if they don't know what you know, they may not see the importance of your goals and your mission. And you don't need that negativity around you. You need as much positivity as possible. You want people to be able to pour into you because you're always pouring into others. And that cup needs to be reciprocal on all ends. And you may need to cut some people.
And don't be afraid to cut people.
Don't be afraid
Right.
to cut people.
Yeah.
Don't. At this age of 55, anybody could get it, okay?
Yeah.
If you even look wrong, you're getting cut. Like, no, I'm a threer. I'm going to give you 3 times because I'm a Carolina girl. So we're always like nurturing and giving.
But that's, I mean, I think that's one of the hardest things is sort of this fear of like, well, oh my God, you know, like I'm not going to get anybody to replace this person. But I think you're absolutely right. And I certainly remember back in my studio days sort of holding on, hoping someone was going to change, that they would take the feedback that and you know, people show you who they are. And if you're going to create appropriate boundaries and if you're going to practice self-care, part of that self-care is to make sure you have people around you that are going to nurture your vision.
Yeah.
And if you're going to lead, right, you
Right.
you need to lead from a place where there's people around you who are willing to come with you on your journey.
They got to be part of your tribe. They also got to want what you got to give. So if it's an employee.
And you can't make people want what you have to give.
You can't. And that goes for clients as well. All money ain't good money. So at the end of the day, you may need to fire some clients.
Right. And it's okay.
And it's okay because you are leaving space for someone else to walk in through the door. If you're filled with all of these people and 50% of them are negative, there's no way for your tribe to come in because they're going to walk in, turn around and walk out. They don't want that energy. So you got to create what you want to cultivate. You got to learn.
You've got to create what you want to cultivate.
You got to. You got to create it because it's not just going to come.
Right.
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 And it's hard to get rid of clients, especially when you're first starting out, because you need every client. But also remember, you got to give yourself enough time to cultivate that safe space, to create a space where people want to come into, because each instructor is definitely doing that in the studio. My class is different than any instructor's class and vice versa, because of what I give and what I bring. My clients want what I give. There are clients that don't want what I give as an instructor, and that's okay. There are 20 other instructors on the roster. Have fun. Pick one. I might not be your zone, and that's okay. I give this speech at the beginning to all my new clients. I want them to understand that this is not the true representation of Pilates you are, and you get to figure out who you want on your team.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like we keep coming around to, or at least in my brain as I listen to you, it keeps coming around to if you're going to stand authentically in a space and not be fearful and be willing to let people go, or whether they're clients or instructors, that it's important that you yourself have the confidence to be present for your clients, for your staff in your space. And it's actually an act of confidence to let people go, to say, I'm going to open this space because now I've opened it to someone else who may come in and align, or with whom I'm more aligned.
Yeah, absolutely. And also it goes back to boundaries and creating people around you that pour into you
Mm-hmm.
and that create that safe space for you.
That's right, because you're
if
pouring into others.
You're pouring into others. And so if you have a client or an instructor that is a little challenging, you can always get information from safe spaces that are going to help you to navigate through that. There's always someone who's navigated through that before that's saying, hey, I went through that. This is what you don't want to do. This is what you may want to think about doing. Like, safe spaces create like conversation where you're just kind of bantering back and forth and you can receive it better. Also, we have to be aware of the communities we're creating, whether we're instructors or studio owners. We have to be cognizant of that, and our marketing has to reflect that. So I want to go back to the marketing because you are attracting through your marketing. And if your marketing is generic, then you're going to get generic whoever, however type of clients that are going to walk through the door. But if your marketing is specific to the culture that you're cultivating, then you're going to resonate with your tribe, and your tribe's going to walk through the door more times. So this is why it's important for you to be fearless, to stand out, and your marketing to not look like everyone else's, but to really speak to the type of environment you're creating, the type of instructors that you're looking for, who you help and how you help them, like all these things.
How important is it then for you to have your own individual vision?
100%. Because we can all be instructors, but each instructor is different. And we can all be studio owners, but each studio is different. It has a different vibe, it has a different feel. So if you're the same vibe as the studio across town, there's nothing that differentiates you from that. It's a 50-50 toss-up whether they're going to go them or you.
Right.
But if you dictate how you're marketing your particular studio, if you say, this is who I am, this is who I service, this is what we do in here, and this is how we get down, that's light years away different from the studio across town. There's no toss-up. People are making a conscious, concerted effort to walk through your door.
Yeah.
Yeah. And word's going to spread like wildfire. Oh, this is the place to be because this is what they do. Right? And that's what's different than that. And then you get the right type of clients, you attract the right type of instructors that also fall into that mission and vision of your space. And nothing feels good as an instructor because I've worn a lot of hats, but right now I'm just Paula. I just go in and I teach and I walk out when it's time. I love it. So being in a studio space where you have that freedom is everything for me. I work at 2 different studios, one in DC, one in Maryland, and both of those studios give me exactly what I need to be free when I teach and to feel valued when I teach. So it feels good when I'm there, which means I teach good when I'm there.
Right.
And every instructor should feel that in the space. But it's also because of the safe spaces that each of those studio owners has created for us as instructors. And we deliver that to our clients as well.
We've used the term safe space. What would you say are some of the key components of a safe space, or how you create a safe space?
So how to create, I'll talk about creating a safe space means that, of course, we're using words that everyone understands and not terminology, right? We like to use terminology and anatomy terms to show how smart we are. And maybe that's what we had to do to test out. I don't know. Because it's been so long since I tested out. But using phrasing words that everyone can understand so that no one feels like they're out of pocket, right? And if you do use terminology, back it up with layman's terms so that now you're educating people on what that term is, right? But people don't go to class to learn to teach it or say the terms. They just want to feel good, right? But you can educate lightly as you go. Also, making sure that everybody gets whatever it is you give. So for me, I always say, hey, I'm a North Carolina girl. I always repeat stuff 3 times. And I'll repeat it. Please don't think I'm not speaking to you. If I say it a second time, it means I still see it. So I'm going to need you to think I'm still talking to you. If I have to say it a third time, I may have to put my hands on you, okay?
Oh,
And that's
fantastic.
where that tactile teaching comes in,
Uh-huh.
right? I say that at the beginning of all my classes because some people may not want to be touched that day. So then I follow it up with, hey, if that's not you and you don't want to be touched today, just put your hand up when I come by you. We don't have to have a conversation, right? Because I want to value everybody's space. Maybe you just don't want to be touched that day, but most people do, right? And so if I'm touching one person, I got to go around and touch all my people.
Right.
I got to, because if I touch just this one person, they're going to think I'm singling them out. And that doesn't make them feel safe, right? So even if I'm just like rubbing your toes because they're super tight and stiff and bunched up, right? And then they usually giggle when I do that, right? or slide my hand over their shoulder, just something so that they know I see you, I'm paying attention to you. This is our space. You're not just on this reformer by yourself. I see you, right? So that's another way to create safe space. Whatever your thing is, make sure you share that thing verbally.
Right.
And you give people permission to opt out if it's not for them, because it is their class. They're paying for it. So we just always have to have conversations before and after. Conversations are needed. Hey, I know I didn't do good today. I got to still work on da 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 da, right? A client may say that to you. My comment is always like, hey, did I correct you on that? Because I didn't see anything wrong with it. So the reaffirmation, you've got to grow people's self-confidence and their self-awareness at the same time and make them feel good in those moments of teaching and growing and really pushing them to get to a different level.
It's so important. I think everything you're saying here today is just so important in the business environment, right? Set your boundaries, create a safe space, have your own individual vision and mission, so that you can be seen for the individual contributions that you have.
Absolutely.
Educate yourself and share that information. Such good stuff. How can people contact you?
I'm everywhere. I'm everywhere. I'm everywhere as Black Girls Do Pilates too. And that's the number 2. Black girls do Pilates too.
too.
And I came up with that name because I'm a Black girl who does Pilates. And at the beginning of my, Pilates journey, I didn't see a lot of people that looked like me. And so I wanted to not only be the Black girl that does Pilates, but I also wanted to show up for other Black girls that do Pilates too, right? And now it's all the things. And so however you want it to mean. But I'm on all social media platforms: YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok.
Yeah. How important do you think it is to see, I mean, you come right out and say Black girls do Pilates too. But how important is it to see yourself reflected, do you think, if you're a new client and a new student?
Oh, wow. I think it is super important because you've got to really be fearless to stay in Pilates in an environment where you don't see yourself reflected. You've got to hang on to like the benefits that you're getting. Maybe you really love the instructor. Maybe it's super close to your home, whatever those benefits are. Right now, I'm literally in a season of teaching in spaces like that. And it's important it gives to me what I give to it, meaning my cup is always full when I walk into Club Pilates Whitmore. It's one of those studios, and I've been teaching 20 years, like 5 states. This is the only studio where I see myself reflected, and it's a very different feel.
Yeah, it does.
But then I'll drive down the street to Washington, D.C. and go into a different studio where I teach at, where I don't see myself reflected visually. as far as like size or as far as like, my ethnicity. But I see myself reflected in people who just want to learn the art of Pilates, people that just want to feel better, people that want to grow.
Right. So you can be reflected in many different ways.
I was just going to say that. So the reflection isn't just physicality, right? It could be, what's your why?
Which is it comes back to the why,
What's
the
your why?
ethos, the vision,
Yes.
the education.
Yes.
Yeah, fantastic. All right, rapid fire questions.
Let me sip.
Take a sip. Okay, here we are. What is your favorite Pilates exercise and why?
The teaser.
Ooh, it's your favorite. So that's
my
fantastic
favorite.
because I have to tell you, a lot of people are like, not the teaser. So why is the teaser your favorite?
Because it encompasses all the principles of Pilates. When you get into a perfect teaser, it encompasses all the principles. And I'm not going to name them, but I don't know what you subscribe to. Are there 7? Are there 8? Are there 12?
Whatever there are, they're all in there.
You know what I'm saying?
They're all
but
in there,
it does encompass all of the principles of Pilates. And so when I get a client to that, and I teach a class where it's like a class to get you to the next level, and that's the
progressive
test.
class, yeah.
And
that's your
that
ta-da
class,
moment.
Yes,
yeah.
that's the thing. You're ready when you get to that because you're listening and you're telling your body, that mind-body connection, what to do, and you're able to maintain it and hold on to it.
You build the skills, right?
All of it.
All the way there. All right, what's your least favorite?
Plank.
Why?
I got a lot of hips and thighs. I'm telling you, when it gets to the center of this body, that's a lot to hold up.
That's a lot to hold. Yeah, like pull up would be my nemesis.
Oh, yeah.
For just that reason. So the reverse plank, yeah. All right, what's your definition of Pilates? If you had to like put a little like slogan, like Pilates is.
Pilates is for everybody. And however you want everybody to be. It could be everybody. It could be everybody. Pilates is for everybody. That's what I really want people to get when they leave a class with me. It's not what you thought it was or what the stereotypes are. Pilates is for everybody at any age.
Okay. Where do you, if you had a crystal ball and you were shining it up, where would you see Pilates going in the future?
Where it's already trending to. More diversity, more education. Because that's what I do is educate. And the reason why people don't take that step is because they haven't been told they could, and education could really push that through for them. If they see more people that look like them, like they would definitely do it. I had the honor of walking through this whole facility, and the diversity in this building is ridiculous.
Isn't it fantastic?
It's amazing. Yeah. And if more people
at all levels.
At all levels, right? So education, definitely, and more diversity.
Great. Well, I was going to say, what do you hope for the community? But I think more diversity was your answer.
For the community, I feel like we just have to step outside of the stereotypes of what we think Pilates can be. Sometimes we can be our own worst critic. I love it when someone says, I wanted to do Pilates, but I didn't, and then I saw you. And I get that. And that's the biggest compliment because that means that someone saw this body and said, if she can, I can.
Yeah, I used to get that a lot from my clients. They would say, that they were actually inspired that I was never that Pilates girl. And it's really funny because here I am thinking, I'm not that Pilates girl, right? And they're like, no, that's exactly what we wanted.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's fantastic. There's room and openness everywhere for everybody. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love this version of Pilates.
Yeah. And we get to build it.
Yeah.
We get to create it.
What did you say? Create.
Oh, create what you want to cultivate.
Yeah. And cultivate what you want to create.
That part.
There we are.
That's a coffee mug.
That is a coffee mug, and
it's mine.
It's mine. Say, you need to quote Paula Marie for that.
It is mine.
Fantastic. Paula Marie, it was just really so lovely spending time with you, getting to know you a little bit more. I'm so looking forward to seeing what you're going to cultivate in the future.
Yay. Thank you so much for having me. This has been amazing.